the job search, and human resources. Job description. Writing an accurate and complete job description can save you, and others, a great deal of time and energy. Although the interview process may help you refine your requirements for the job, it's inefficient and unfair to go into this process without having done as much of your homework as possible. Taking the time to describe the job accurately can help ensure you interview the right people and ultimately hire someone who can do the work. Introduction. The purpose of a job description is to describe the functions and requirements of the job, as well as to situate it within an organizational context. A job description may also provide a framework for conducting a performance review. Job descriptions have a variety of readers, both external and internal to the organization. External readers are job seekers who will use the job description to decide whether or not to apply for the position. Internal readers include managers, supervisors, and perhaps colleagues of the potential hire. For both audiences, the job description must be accurate and complete. Brainstorming the content involves conducting a thoughtful analysis of the requirements of the job and its place in the organization. Many companies have a standard format for a job description. The model outline will provide an organizational framework that you can adapt for your own use. Especially if you are creating a new job or significantly revising an existing one, you should plan to go through several drafts of your job description. It's a good idea to ask others to review your draft, especially managers or supervisors who will work with the new hire, legal counsel, and human resources professionals in your organization. Revise according to their input. You will likely go through several rounds of drafting, reviewing, and revision before you finalize your job description. Model outline. A job description typically contains the following sections. Your company may organize this information differently. Basic information. Job title, department, supervisor's title, salary range. Job functions. A list of the duties to be performed and any objectives connected to those duties. Duties are usually listed in order of importance. The relative importance of these duties is sometimes reflected as a percentage. Requirements. Requirements are generally listed in order of importance. This section is sometimes divided into minimum requirements and preferred requirements. Special requirements. Required testing, licenses, clearances, and so on. Do. Do state the name of the position. Do state who the position reports to, including dotted line relationships. Do list the job responsibilities. It is conventional to list the job responsibilities in order of importance, that is, state first the task or tasks the person will be performing most, and then work your way down to the less important or less frequent tasks. Do state the requirements the candidate must meet to receive consideration. You may want to divide this section into minimum requirements and preferred requirements in order to establish a baseline, but allow for a larger range of applicants to consider. Think about what your must-have requirements are. Do consider using an ideal candidate section to describe the exact set of qualifications, background, and attitude you are seeking in a candidate. Developing an ideal candidate section can help you refine your own understanding of the job and can help potential applicants decide whether or not to apply. Do consider writing a bit about your organization's culture, values, and mission in the job description. This gives potential applicants a chance to decide for themselves if they might be a good fit, and it can also create a talking point for any future interview. Do decide how you want to deal with salary requirements. Some organizations have a policy to say simply, salary commensurate with experience. Be aware, however, that this kind of open-ended statement may elicit applications from unqualified or underqualified individuals. Many organizations specify a salary range for the position. Check to see if your company has a policy about this issue. Do use straightforward and clear language in your job descriptions. Avoid abbreviations or jargon that is exclusive to your company. Do develop a template. If you work for a company that employs more than just a couple of people, it's a good idea to develop a job description template so that job descriptions are consistent. Using a template forces a logical approach to organization, supervision, and division of labor, and having standardized job descriptions can help organize the performance review process. It can also help protect you against any future accusations of unfairness or wrongful termination. Don't post an out-of-date or inaccurate job description. Take the time to make updates before you begin the search. To do otherwise is a waste of your time and the applicant's time as well. Don't ramble. To help you focus, try to condense the job into a one-sentence summary. Then you can break out the job into its component responsibilities. Don't define the job too narrowly. Some jobs have a single clear-cut function. Many, however, involve responsibilities that expand. If you expect the job to grow, or if you think the incumbent may be performing duties that you cannot anticipate, leave yourself an escape clause by saying, performs related duties as assigned. Don't include non-essential job functions that represent less than 5% of the job. Instead, use an umbrella statement as a catch-all for these functions. Like this. Position title: Administrative Assistant. Administrative Assistant for fast-paced boutique PR firm in an environment where office relationships are very important. Client-facing. Reporting to the president of the company, the incumbent provides support to the president and 5-member team of PR professionals. Job functions. Provides high-level administrative support to company president and 5 PR professionals. Screens a high volume of incoming calls and emails from clients, press reps, and other parties. Assists in developing presentations. Prepares a variety of printed matter. Prepares for meetings and conference calls. Manages calendar and scheduling. Makes travel arrangements, including creating itineraries and managing point-to-point arrangements. Maintains and assists in development of office website. Performs other duties as assigned. Job requirements. Minimum requirements. High school diploma or equivalent. Strong attention to detail. Excellent communication and interpersonal skills. Good phone skills. Ability to manage multiple priorities. Maintain poise in deadline-driven environment. Discretion and diplomacy with client information. Advanced proficiency with Microsoft Office software. Familiarity with content management systems for websites. Proficient with technology and fast learner. 3 years experience in comparable environment. Preferred requirements. AA degree or higher. 5 years experience in comparable environment. Reading knowledge of French and/or Spanish preferred. Job advertisement. Writing a job advertisement can be a pain in the neck because it requires you to think carefully about the job and prioritize the most important qualifications. The way you craft your job advertisement can have an enormous influence on the kind of applicants you get and the amount of time you'll need to spend weeding through applications, so it's well worth investing the energy to do it right. Introduction. The purpose of a job advertisement is to let people know about a job opening and attract the best possible applicants. The trick is to provide the kind of information that will help your readers understand the nature of the opportunity and self-select. As you brainstorm, it's important to think from the point of view of the people who will see the ad. You know all about the job. They don't. There are many acceptable ways to organize a job ad. Your best bet is to look at other ads in the venue in which you want to advertise and model yours accordingly. If you're advertising a newly created position or one that has been substantially revised, you should plan to go through a few drafts before you finalize the ad. It's likely that your first draft will be too long. Have a friend or colleague review the job advertisement. Revise according to her feedback. Only God gets it right the first time. Stephen King, novelist. Do think carefully about the job before you write the ad. What are the key requirements? What kind of people would you like to interview? Make a list of the most important skills and qualities for the job and work from there. Do consult the supervisor for his input. If you are seeking a candidate who will be reporting to someone other than you, be sure you work with the supervisor to develop the job ad. Do be concise. The job ad should include the key requirements for the position, usually ranked in order of importance. Newspapers usually charge by the word, so you'll want to be brief. Online ads are typically longer. Do use keywords. If your ad is online, using keywords can improve search results. Do use bullet points to make your job listing easy to scan. Do look at models. Check in newspapers and online for advertisements for similar jobs in similar industries. Do consider whether you want to mention salary or not. Some companies give a salary range to accommodate applicants who have varying experience. Do mention other benefits like health and dental insurance, life insurance, vacation time, and so on. Do mention other benefits and perks. Flexible hours? Telecommuting? Are there other things that might make this company attractive? Mentoring program? Tuition benefits? What makes your place special and attractive to the right person? Do describe the work environment. Including some information about your company culture can help ensure that you get the right kind of applicants. Be honest, and don't just use buzzwords that you think will attract people. Do stand firm. To discourage unqualified applicants, consider including a statement that only candidates who meet the stated qualifications will be considered. Do include instructions about how to apply. If you don't want phone calls, say so. Don't overwhelm potential candidates with a very long job ad. A job advertisement is rarely long enough to include the entire job description. Refer back to the previous section, Job Description, to understand what should be omitted. Don't stuff your ad with cliches. Terms like self-starter, team player, and highly motivated are so overused they've become practically meaningless. Don't hype the job without giving much real information about it. Some job advertisements spend so much energy praising the company they barely mention the job itself. Don't omit essential qualifications. If the successful candidate must have an MBA, a driver's license, or some other qualification, make sure the ad mentions that. Don't forget soft skills. Think about the character and work ethic of your ideal candidate and mention the soft skills, such as communication skills, flexibility, or collaboration skills that are important for the job. Don't try to deceive applicants. If you can't afford to pay a good salary, don't say your compensation package is competitive. If your business is underperforming, don't describe it as thriving. Like this. Online job advertisement. Administrative assistant for boutique PR firm. Interested in joining a high-energy creative team? JCBPR is seeking a highly motivated and tech-savvy administrative assistant to provide support to the company president and her 5-person team. Must be diplomatic and discreet. Opportunity for advancement. Great benefits. Duties. Bullet point. Provides general administrative support to team. Bullet point. Creates presentations and other documents. Bullet point. Frequent phone and email contact with clients and press reps. Bullet point. Makes travel arrangements. Bullet point. Maintains and develops office website. Bullet point. Performs other duties as assigned. Required qualifications. High school diploma or equivalent, some college preferred. A minimum of 3 years in a comparable environment. Strong communication and people skills. advanced skills in Microsoft Office software, experience maintaining websites. Email letter and resume to contact@jcbpr.com. No calls. Newspaper version. Administrative assistant. Fast-paced boutique PR firm seeks motivated and professional AA to support president and 5-person team. Must be highly tech-savvy. 3 years experience required. Great benefits. Email letter and resume to contact@jcbpr.com. No calls. Cover letter for resume. The cover letter you submit, along with your resume, is an extremely important part of your job application. Your cover letter provides you with a great opportunity to communicate with the hiring manager and to set yourself apart from your competition. Make the most of this opportunity and craft a careful cover letter with each application. Most online job applications ask you to paste your cover letter into an online form. For companies that also request a hard copy of your cover letter and resume, you should format your cover letter as a formal business letter and sign it. Refer back to the section Business Letter. Introduction. There are several purposes for including a cover letter with your resume when you apply for a job. Your cover letter specifies which position you're applying for, directs the reader's attention to relevant information on your resume, and makes an argument that you are an especially good candidate for the job. People who screen resumes and cover letters typically go through them extremely quickly. You'll have only a few seconds to grab your reader's attention. Brainstorm from your reader's point of view. What information will make her put your resume into the maybe file rather than the much larger no file? How can you tailor your cover letter to highlight the fit between your experience and the job description? Keep the structure of your cover letter simple and straightforward. The model outline offers an organizational structure you can use. Although the letter is brief, you're wise to go through several drafts and revisions before you send it. Enlist the help of a friend or family member to review your letter. Typos, spelling mistakes, and other errors can throw you out of the running immediately, so ensure that your letter is perfect before you submit it. Model outline. A cover letter for a resume should be brief and easy to scan. Opening. Let the reader know what position you're applying for. Say you believe you are an excellent fit for the position. Middle. Direct your reader to information on your resume that makes you a good match for the job. Explain if necessary. Conclusion. Express your interest in interviewing for the job. Thank the reader for her time. Do tailor your cover letter to the particular job you're applying for. If you are applying for 100 jobs, you should plan to write 100 different cover letters. Develop a few different templates to use as the basis for your different letters, but be sure the cover letter you send is customized to the job you're applying for. Do address a particular person in your salutation. Try to avoid to whom it may concern, if possible. Even addressing your letter to hiring manager is preferable. Do state why you are writing and which job you are applying for. If you're writing at the suggestion of a mutual acquaintance, say so and mention how you know that person. Do refer to your resume. Draw your reader's attention to information on the resume that is particularly relevant to your application for this particular job. Do elaborate on your resume. Instead of just repeating the information on the resume, use the cover letter to explain how and why your experience is relevant to this application. Do focus on what you have to offer the employer, not what the job can offer you. Do write in your own voice. Your cover letter is a business letter, so it should be businesslike. However, you'll make a stronger impression if you allow your own voice to come through, rather than writing in businessese. Do keep it brief. Your objective is to pique your reader's interest. You can go into more detail during the interview. Don't Don't rehash the information on your resume. Your cover letter should motivate the reader to look carefully at your resume, not simply reiterate the information there. Don't explain the company to the reader. Your reader knows that her employer is the world's leader in aeronautical design, or the country's fastest-growing insurance provider, or the region's largest employer of technology graduates, or whatever other superlative you might find. Your job in the cover letter is to explain why you're a great fit for that job at that company. Don't fudge about salary issues. Companies ask about salary history because they are trying to see if you fit within their budget. If you are uncomfortable providing information about your current salary, instead provide a salary range that you would be willing to accept. Ultimately, it's your decision how much you need and how much you are able or willing to compromise. Not like this. To whom it may concern. My name is Linda Way. Never, ever open a letter with, "My name is." The reader is very well able to look at your signature and learn your name. The opening of any letter is too important to waste this way. And I am writing to apply for the position of Administrative Coordinator at the Center for Entrepreneurship. Linda has left a typo in the very first sentence. Many readers will stop reading here, thinking she is careless. I believe I am an exceptionally good fit for the position. As my enclosed resume indicates, I have substantial experience in related jobs. I worked for 6 years as Program Coordinator for the Business Institute at Northampton University. My responsibilities included extensive writing and editing of business-related copy. I worked for several years as a freelance editor and writer, and my clients included a number of professors at the Wharton School. I also worked as Assistant Director, promoted from Coordinator after 1 year, in the Alumni Affairs Office of the University of Pennsylvania, where my responsibilities included event planning, program building, fundraising, and general administration. This paragraph is too long. Rather than offering a summary of the resume, it simply restates much of the information there. You want to point your reader to the resume, not just rehash it. The administrative coordinator job would be an ideal fit for me. My family owns and operates several retail businesses in the area, including several high-end clothing shops, and I have been hoping to find a long-term, stable, part-time job that would allow me to devote some time to the family business. It would be an added bonus for me to work for a center devoted to the study of entrepreneurship, since that is what my family is engaged in. Linda is smart to explain why she's willing to take a part-time job. However, this paragraph focuses far too much on the details of Linda's life and her family business. The reader needs reassurance that Linda will stay in the job, not details about her life and circumstances. Thank you for your time and consideration. I am available for an interview if you so desire. Sincerely, Linda Way. Like this. To the Director. Thank you for considering my application for the position of Administrative Coordinator at the Center for Entrepreneurship. I believe I am an exceptionally good fit for the position. As you will see from the enclosed resume, I have extensive experience as a business writer and editor, and I have worked with a number of professors at the Wharton School. I also have substantial administrative experience at the University of Pennsylvania, including event planning, program building, fundraising, and general administration. Linda directs the reader to the resume, presenting just a recap of her experiences. This paragraph says, in essence, I'm right for the job and my resume proves it. The job also looks like an excellent fit for my interests and needs. I am seeking a long-term, stable part-time job while I assist in building my family's retail business in the area. I would very much enjoy working at Wharton and helping the center achieve its objectives. Linda reassures the reader that she is really interested in a part-time job and not likely to abandon it after a short time. She concludes the paragraph by expressing her eagerness to make a contribution to the center. Thank you for your time and consideration. I look forward to speaking to you about the administrative coordinator position. Sincerely, Linda Way. For more sample cover letters, visit www.howtowriteanything.com. Cover letters for special situations. When there's no job description. Sometimes you send around your resume even when there is no job advertised. You might be interested in working for a particular company, or you might be trying to break into a new field. If you are sending a resume to try to schedule an informational interview, say so in your cover letter. Highlight a few skills or experiences that would make you an interesting candidate for the target company. Career changer with transferable skills. If you are applying for a position in an area in which you have no work history, use your cover letter to argue that the skills from your previous positions are transferable to the one you are currently interested in. Highlight any comparable experiences and be specific about the skills and experience you believe prepare you for the job you've targeted. Explain why you're changing careers and what attracts you to your newly chosen field. Gap in employment history. Employment experts disagree about whether it's wise to address a gap in employment history in your cover letter. Many feel that mentioning the gap just gives a potential employer an excuse to discard your resume without viewing it. Others believe you can use your cover letter to preempt questions that might be in the reader's mind. If you decide to mention it, simply acknowledge the gap and briefly explain what you were doing during that time. Don't dwell on the issue, don't overshare, and don't apologize. Keep the focus of your letter on what you have to offer and how you can contribute. First-time job applicants. Refer also to previous section, Internship Letter. Young people just entering the workforce often feel their resumes are too brief to be of much interest. If you have little formal work experience, use the cover letter to highlight what you have done and what you can do. Mention any internships you may have done. Mention volunteer experiences, even if they were not formally arranged. Focus on your skills. Highlight your interest in the company or industry you're applying to. Be especially careful that your cover letter is very well written. Many companies will regard it as a writing sample. Resume. A resume is a targeted marketing tool that can be revised and refined to make the strongest possible case that you are the right person for the job. It's wise to customize your resume for each job you apply for. Fine-tuning your resume can be time-consuming, but a well-crafted resume can set you apart from the competition and get you on the inside track for an interview. Introduction. The purpose of a resume is to provide a record of your employment and professional achievements and to sell yourself as a job candidate. Although you may have no idea who your reader will be, it is imperative that you put yourself in her shoes as you write your resume. Be aware that most people who review resumes spend about 10 seconds each on them. You must craft your resume to catch their attention. Look at the job description for the position you're applying for, and brainstorm about what experience you've had that would support your application for that position. Make sure that your most relevant experience appears on the resume. Most resumes are organized according to the conventional reverse chronological format. The model outline provides an overview of this format. However, some people use a skills-based or functional format. If you are writing a resume for the first time or updating it after a long period of neglect, you should expect to go through several drafts. It's an excellent idea to ask a friend or trusted colleague to review your resume and offer feedback. It's also vitally important to proofread for spelling errors, typos, and inconsistencies. Be prepared to revise according to the feedback you receive. Model outline. The most popular format for resumes is the reverse chronological format. Heading. Include your name, address, phone number or numbers, and email address. Summary or objective. Optional. Highlight your most important and relevant skills and experience. Career changers typically use an objective to let the reader know what direction they're headed professionally. Work experience. Provide details about your jobs in reverse chronological order, starting with your current or most recent position. Education/training. List your education and training, starting with the most recent first. Other information. Optional. List memberships, awards, honors, or volunteer work. Follow the standard practices in your field. References. End your resume by saying, "References available on request." It's also a way of signaling to the reader that she's reached the end of the resume and hasn't lost the last page. Do tailor your resume to the position you're applying for, if possible. Ideally, you should revise your resume for each position you apply for to highlight you're a good fit for the job. The more closely you fit what they're looking for, the more likely it is they'll want to interview you. Do familiarize yourself with resume conventions in your field. Do consider including an objective, particularly if you are changing careers or re-entering the workforce after a period of absence. An objective can help your reader understand the type of position you're looking for. Do lead with your strongest suit. It is traditional to place the employment section first. However, if you are a recent college graduate with little work experience, or if you are a career changer who has recently completed an education or training program related to your new career of choice, it makes sense to lead with the education section. Do make your resume easy to scan. People don't read resumes, they look at them. Using bullet points and attractive formatting can make your content more accessible. Do select details that support your goal. Focus on duties and achievements that make you shine as a candidate for the job you're going after. Do use strong verbs in your job descriptions. Try beginning each bullet point with an action verb. See the section to follow, Action Verbs for Resumes. Make sure that your bullets are grammatically parallel. Do focus on achievements and quantify them. For instance, how much revenue did you generate? How many new clients did you recruit? By how much did you increase circulation? Do consider adding a volunteer section. Volunteer activities can say a lot about your leadership skills and commitment. Consider your achievements in your volunteer positions and note anything exceptional, such as funds raised or number of volunteers organized. Do consider noting honors. If you have received honors or awards in your field, say so. Do be careful about hobbies. Hobbies can reveal something about your character, and they can be a good icebreaker during an interview. Beware, though, if your hobbies are things like golfing or swimming, you're not really setting yourself apart from other applicants. On the other hand, if your hobbies include skydiving or extreme sports, you may be raising a red flag about your risk of getting injured and missing work. Music, dance, martial arts, photography, and art are just a few hobbies that suggest self-discipline and acquisition of skills over time, characteristics that can impress a prospective employer. Do format consistently and cleanly. Once you choose your visual style for the resume, be eagle-eyed in ensuring your formatting, including punctuation conventions, is adhered to scrupulously. Do proofread, proofread, proofread. Tip: keep several different resumes ready if you are interested in more than one type of job. Don't expect a single version to do all the work if you are pursuing different kinds of jobs. Remember, a resume is a targeted marketing tool, not just a list of your previous jobs. Don't lie. Ever. With the advent of social media and other internet sources, it's easier than ever to get caught if you lie on your resume. The risk is never worth it. Don't use tiny fonts and narrow margins to cram more information onto the page. Resumes are scanned before they're read, and huge blocks of text are extremely uninviting to the eye. Don't use a lot of technical or specialized jargon. Make sure your reader will understand your job descriptions. Don't use unusual formatting to make your resume stand out. Most large companies use software to screen resumes, and unusual formatting can cause the software to reject yours. Even if you're applying to a small company, it can be risky to be too creative with your formatting. Don't recap your job description in the work experience section of the resume. The job descriptions should be strategic. Highlight what you accomplished and highlight what's relevant to the job you're applying for. Don't leave gaps in your resume. A missing year will create questions in the minds of your readers. If you are unemployed, consider enrolling in some kind of education or training program so that you can account for your time on the resume. Action verbs for resumes. Beginning each bullet point of your resume with an action verb can communicate your accomplishments with greater punch. Here are a couple of examples. Instead of responsible for the supervision of 7 staff members, try supervised a staff of 7. Instead of duties included cultivating donors and soliciting contributions, try cultivated donors and solicited contributions. Here is a list of verbs you might use in your resume. Administered, assembled, assumed, budgeted, built, carried out, collaborated, coordinated, costed, created, cultivated, customized, defined, delegated, delivered, developed, devised, affected, empowered, enacted, enhanced, enlarged, established, expedited, fabricated, facilitated, forecast, fostered, furnished, generated, grew, guided, headed, implemented, improved, increased, initiated, innovated, instituted, launched, led, maintained, managed, marketed, maximized, mediated, minimized, mobilized, modernized, modified, motivated, negotiated, netted, obtained, operated, optimized, orchestrated, organized, originated, overhauled, oversaw, participated, performed, pinpointed, pioneered, planned, predicted, prepared, presented, presided, prevented, prioritized, procured, promoted, proposed, proved, qualified, raised, ran, rated, reached, realigned, realized, recommended, reconciled, redesigned, reduced, referred, regulated, reorganized, represented, researched, resolved, restored, restructured, revamped, reviewed, revitalized, scheduled, screened, secured, served, serviced, set up, showed, solidified, solved, spearheaded, specified, staffed, streamlined, strengthened, studied, summarized, supervised, surpassed, synergized, targeted, tested, traced, trained, transformed, troubleshot, undertook, unified, used, validated, vitalized, worked, wrote. Not like this. Sandy Egan, 19 East Jerome Street, number 4A, Brooklyn, New York, 10022, 718-800-9999. sandy.egan@bunonline.net. If you scan this resume quickly, Sandy is using 6 different fonts plus bold and italic. There are a lot of little bullet points that are unattractive. It's a visual hodgepodge, and it's difficult to read. Work experience. 2011 to present. Administrative assistant. Stern School of Business, New York University, New York, New York. Placing the dates here give them special prominence. Better to move them elsewhere. Bullet point. Coordinate logistics for internal and external meetings, including scheduling booking rooms, preparing materials, and arranging conference calls. Bullet point. Create PowerPoint presentations. Bullet point. Responsible for handling and delivering of documents between and among divisions and departments. Bullet point. Provide assistance in creating reports and other documents. Bullet point. Handles reimbursements and travel arrangements for speakers, faculty recruits. Bullet point. Responsible for processing expense reports. Bullet point. Send thank you letters to donors, notify faculty of incoming gifts. Bullet point. Input gifts data into SPARS. Bullet point. Process and follow up on invoices in APCAR and FFE. All these acronyms aren't going to mean anything to anyone outside the organization. Sandy should describe what she does in terms anyone could understand. Bullet point. Oversees and transmits internal and external communications. Oversees and transmits aren't parallel with the other verbs. This is a dead giveaway that Sandy is copying from the job description. Bullet point. Supervise one work-study student assistant. The bullet points in this section aren't grammatically parallel. Try beginning each line with a strong action verb. Also, Sandy has to use a tiny font to get in all this information, and the resume still doesn't fit onto a single page. She should think hard about her objective and see if she can condense some of these job description sections. 2010 to 2011, Program Assistant. The Willett School, Brooklyn, New York. Bullet point. Assisted in archiving of research data from parent survey. Bullet point. Assisted in archiving of research data from alumni survey. Bullet point. Assisted alumni relations and development office. Bullet point. Responsible for scheduling of classrooms each term. Bullet point. Assisted teachers in ordering books. Bullet point. Handled filing and scanned files. Bullet point. Sorted and delivered mail and faxes. Maintained and organized kitchen area. Why are these duties on the same line? Sandy's trying to include every detail rather than choosing those that are most relevant to her job application. And overall, the job description sounds disjointed. It was probably a catch-all job, but Sandy should try to make it sound more organized. 2008 to 2010, Teaching Assistant, PS 127, New York, NY. Is it NY or New York? Sandy has both. It's a small detail, but if the employer is picky, they might use this as a reason to reject Sandy's application. Bullet point. Provided assistance to 3 elementary school teachers. Bullet point. Maintained classroom supplies. Bullet point. Assisted with book orders. Bullet point. Worked on classroom setup at the beginning of each year. Bullet point. Provided in-classroom support during special projects and events. Bullet point. Helped plan events. Bullet point. Maintained and organized supply storage areas. 2005 to 2008, Assistant, YMCA of Brooklyn, Brooklyn, New York. Bullet point. Provided general assistance to director and staff. Bullet point. Responsible for maintaining rosters for voluntary classes. Bullet point. Planned meetings and took meeting minutes. Bullet point. Responsible for setup of meeting rooms and AV equipment for presentations and meetings. Bullet point. Handled phone calls and walk-in inquiries. Bullet point. Light bookkeeping. Bullet point. Maintained inventory for office supplies and interfaced with vendors. Bullet point. Assisted in maintaining office equipment such as copiers and printers. Bullet point. Worked with community volunteers. As you browse through Sandy's various jobs, it's not clear what her profession is. She's had a variety of different jobs. In cases like this, it's wise to use an objective section to help the reader process all the data presented on the resume. Education. Brooklyn Community College, AA Communications, 2005. William Dunbar High School, 2003. References available on request. Like this. Sandy Egan, 19 East Jerome Street, number 4A. Brooklyn, NY, 10022, 718-800-9999. sandy.egan@bunonline.net. The resume uses fewer fonts and has been condensed. It's much easier to read, and it will fit easily on one page. Objective. A position as an administrative or executive assistant where I can use my organizational skills. It's very clear now what Sandy is looking for, and the resume makes more sense in light of her stated objective. Work experience. Administrative assistant, Stern School of Business, New York University, 2011 to present. Sandy has tightened up these lines. She's removed some place names where they're obvious from the name of the organization and tucked the dates into a less conspicuous place. Bullet point. Coordinate logistics for internal and external meetings, including scheduling, booking rooms, preparing materials, and arranging conference calls. By condensing and consolidating job descriptions, Sandy has given herself room to use a larger, more readable font. Bullet point. Oversee and transmit internal and external communications. Bullet point. Send thank you letters to donors, notify faculty of incoming gifts, log gifts in database. Bullet point. Deliver documents between and among divisions and departments. Bullet point. Assist in creating reports and other documents. Create PowerPoint presentations. Bullet point. Handle reimbursements and travel arrangements. Process expense reports. Bullet point. Process and follow up on invoices in university-wide accounting systems. Sandy's dropped the acronyms in favor of a clear description of her task. Bullet point. Supervise one work-study student assistant. All the bullet points now begin with an action verb. Program assistant. The Willett School, Brooklyn, NY, 2010 to 2011. Bullet point. Provided diverse support services for independent school staff and faculty. This new bullet point creates an umbrella statement for the diverse tasks described below. Bullet point. Assisted Alumni Relations and Development Office. Bullet point. Assisted in archiving of research data from parent and alumni surveys. Bullet point. Assisted teachers in ordering books. Bullet point. Scheduled classrooms each term. Bullet point. Filed, scanned files, sorted, and delivered mail and faxes. Sandy has consolidated similar tasks onto one line, saving space. She's dropped the kitchen duty because it's not relevant to her job search. Teaching assistant. PS 127 New York, NY, 2008 to 2010. Bullet point. Provided assistance to 3 elementary school teachers. Bullet point. Maintained classroom supplies and organized storage areas, assisted with book orders. Bullet point. Worked on classroom setup at the beginning of each year. Bullet point. Provided in-classroom support during special projects and events, helped plan events. Assistant. YMCA of Brooklyn, 2005 to 2008. Bullet point. Provided general assistance to director and staff. Bullet point. Maintained rosters for voluntary classes. Bullet point. Planned meetings and took meeting minutes. Bullet point. Set up meeting rooms and AV equipment for presentations and meetings. Bullet point. Handled phone calls and walk-in inquiries, worked with community volunteers. In addition to condensing and consolidating, Sandy's decided to drop a few bullet points. This job is far in the past and she's handled greater responsibility since then. It's well worth the sacrifice in order to cut the resume down to a more reasonable length. Education. Brooklyn Community College, AA Communications, 2005. William Dunbar High School, 2003. References available on request. For more sample resumes, visit www.howtowriteanything.com.